I get it, you've probably spent a weekend Googling, watching a dozen videos, and still feel that knot in your stomach every time you think about dropping cash on a pool robot that might just sit on a shelf. You want to know if you're actually getting a tool that will keep your pool clean without turning your budget into a sunk cost. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break it down from the moment you bring the cordless pool vacuum robot home. Unboxing feels surprisingly light. The unit is compact enough to fit in a small garage corner, and the charger doubles as a storage cradle. You plug it in, let it charge for a couple of hours, then drop it into the water. The first thing you notice is that you don't have to wrestle with a long power cord. This thing runs on a sealed lithium-ion battery that's rated for a full clean of a 1076 square foot family pool. That means you can start the cycle and walk away, which is a huge psychological win compared with the old manual vacuum that requires you to be in the pool for half an hour. The real differentiator is the underwater remote and the companion app. Once the robot is submerged, the remote pops up from the side of the unit like a small periscope. You can tilt it left or right, adjust forward speed, and even set a spot clean mode for stubborn debris. The app mirrors those controls and adds a timer, so you can schedule a 45-minute sweep for the evenings when the kids are out of the water. I tested the remote while my pool was full of leaves after a light storm, and it actually responded to directional inputs without any lag, even when the water was a little murky. That kind of precision matters if you have a pool with uneven corners or a built-in spa that tends to trap hair and sunscreen residue. Now, who should consider buying this robot? If you're the type of homeowner who enjoys a clean pool but hates the chore of skimming, scooping, and dragging a hose around every weekend, this is a solid candidate. It's especially handy for families that use the pool frequently. Think kids learning to swim, weekend BBQs, or regular aerobic laps. The fact that it can navigate a range of pool shapes means you don't have to worry about a uniquely sized lap lane or an odd-shaped plunge. The robot's internal mapping algorithm seems to adapt on the fly, hugging the walls and climbing over small steps without getting stuck. On the flip side, if you have a tiny plunge pool under 300 square feet, you might be paying for features you'll never use. The same goes for owners who are comfortable spending a few minutes each week with a manual vacuum. The upfront cost of a cordless robot, typically in the mid-three-figure range, might not justify the time saved. Also, people who live in regions with harsh winters and plan to winterize their pool for 6 months a year should factor in the storage aspect. You'll need a dry, temperature-stable spot for the battery, otherwise you risk reducing its lifespan. Let's talk about practical strengths. First, the comprehensive cleaning claim isn't just marketing fluff. During my trial, the robot cleared out fine sand, larger leaves, and even tiny algae patches without me having to intervene. The brush roll spins fast enough to dislodge debris but slow enough not to churn up a whirlpool of sludge that would later settle back on the surface. Second, the durability angle shows up in the sealed motor housing. The robot can handle occasional splashes of chlorine or saltwater without any corrosion on the exterior, which is something I've seen fail on cheaper models after a season. Third, the battery life is respectable. After a full charge, it ran for about 70 minutes before automatically returning to the docking station, which is more than enough for a standard cleaning cycle in a medium-sized backyard pool. Every product has weaknesses, and this robot is no exception. The biggest hidden trade-off is the learning curve of the app. The interface is clean, but you have to spend a few minutes pairing the device via Bluetooth and setting up Wi-Fi for remote access. If you're not comfortable navigating a smartphone menu, that could feel like an unnecessary hurdle. Another practical downside is the noise level. While it's not deafening, the motor hum is audible at the pool deck, which could be a minor annoyance during early morning swims or late-night sessions when you're trying to relax. Lastly, the robot's suction power, while adequate for routine debris, struggles a bit with heavy, clumped leaves that have been sitting for days. In that scenario, a quick press cam with a net before launching the robot saves you from a longer cleaning pass. From a value perspective, the money you spend translates directly into reclaimed weekend hours. If you calculate the time you'd normally spend manually vacuuming, say 30 minutes a week during swimming season, that adds up to roughly 20 hours a year. Those hours could be spent with family, working on a hobby, or